Start, so I would like to call to order the Monday, February 2nd, 2026 meeting of the Lake Zurich Village Board. Clerk Johnson, please call the roll.
Mayor Poynton,
I'm here.
Trustee Baradwaj,
Here.
Trustee Marks, Trustee Riley,
Here.
Trustee Spicone,
Present.
Trustee Shagru,
Here.
Trustee Whiter,
Present.
All present and accounted for. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okey-doke. Next item on the agenda is public comment. Public comment is an opportunity for residents to comment briefly on matters included on the agenda and otherwise of interest to the Board of Trustees. Public comment is limited to 30 minutes in total and up to 5 minutes maximum per speaker, depending upon the number of commenters. We will take public comments first from the sign-in sheet in the order in which folks signed in. So when you step to the podium, please speak clearly into the microphone, identify yourself with your name and address for the record, and please direct your comments to the board. So I'll first go to the sign-in list, and first up is Scott Garrison.
Good evening. My name is Scott Garrison. I live at 33 Rugby Road. I just wanted to bring something to your attention. After watching the last meeting and listening to Trustee Spicone speak about property taxes, and I was looking at the water bill, the last water bill that I got, and I understand that we need to have Lake Michigan water and that it is expensive. But one thing that I wanted to bring to everybody's attention, which I don't think has been addressed, for many years, there is a senior disabled discount, and that has not been revisited. And I think that it should. I understand that Lake Michigan water is expensive, and I don't have a problem with that. But I think that that senior and disabled discount needs to be revisited.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next is Mary Kozub. Mary?
Good evening. I'm here tonight, Mary Kozub, 280 Pebble Creek Drive. I'm here tonight to let our members, friends, and community know that the Ancient Oaks Foundation will always represent in a respectful and responsible manner. We don't name call, we don't use discourteous, hurtful, or inappropriate language, ever. We believe everyone is valuable. Ancient Oaks is about community. Community is in our mission and our goals. Ancient Oaks stands ready to work with our community, staff, and elected officials. The Ancient Oaks staff and board members have researched and developed drafts on 4 important grants and funding opportunities to enhance our canopy and green space. They are the Prairie State Grant, $30,000 is available, and it can be used on multiple projects. The ComEd Green Grant is $15,000. The Lake County Tree Initiative is $15,000 with no staff time involved. The AARP grant improves access for seniors and others at $20,000. Most of these require some sort of in-kind or community nonprofit involvement. Ancient Oaks is a nonprofit 501(c) organization. We are your community organization. We look forward to working in partnership with the community and the village to let Lake Zurich thrive. So that said, I do want to say something personally that I wanted to address to all that are listening and watching, everyone out there, and the rest of the community. Pass the word. It is scary to approach this podium and speak to this body. but don't be intimidated. This is your 5 minutes, your public comment as a resident. But I will give you some advice. Come prepared. It's only 5 minutes and it goes fast. Believe me, I get cut off all the time. Be clear, be concise, so that everyone understands. Show your heart and how you want our community to improve. You don't have to be an engineer or an architect. It is not your job as a resident to build things. We have staff that are fully capable of doing that. I also think it's important that when you have these things, communicate to the staff, communicate to the elected officials with emails and phone calls. They may not answer right away, but keep at it. Be loud. They will eventually hear you. We feel that empathy, kindness, and compassion and decency are important. And last but not least, the Lorax rocks. Thank you.
Okay. There's nobody else on the sign-in list, so one more time, if anybody's here and wants to speak, raise your hand and we'll let you speak. Nope, okey-doke. Then I will close public comments for the night, move down to the president's report, and I have none at this time. So we move to the consent agenda. The titles on the consent agenda will be read by the clerk and approved by a single roll call vote. Any item may be pulled from the consent agenda for board discussion or separate vote by any member of the board. Clerk Johnson, please read the titles.
6A, approval of minutes from the Village Board meeting of January 19th, 2026. 6B, approval of the semi-monthly warrant register dated February 2nd, 2026, totaling $4,707,840.01. 6C, ordinance granting a final plan approval for a planned unit development and ordinance approving and authorizing the execution and attestation of a development agreement between the Village of Lake Zurich and Zero Manchester Road LLC relating to the development of Meadow West East, Zero Manchester Road. Assigned ordinance is 2026-02-648 and 2026-02-649. 6D, resolution appointing a delegate, an alternate delegate, to the Intergovernmental Risk Management Agency, IRMA, assigned resolution 2026-02-110.
Okay, thank you, Kathleen. Are there any board questions or is discussion desired on any item, or does anybody want any item pulled for additional discussion or a separate vote?
Mr. Mayor, I would like item C pulled for questions and a separate vote, please.
Item C, okay? Okay, then it's all yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have a quick question, probably for staff. My question is with regard to that subdivision and lots 1 and 2. Reviewing the packet, there was a statement made there that lots 1 and 2 may be, I believe, purchased and held to become open space. I was just curious. Again, I think the motivation from that is coming from a resident of Hawthorne Woods. So I was just curious on how that would be managed, would operate, the responsibility. Even though it's an open space, somebody has to be accountable for the upkeep and the maintenance. So that was new to this information from when we saw this before, and I was just looking for some clarification if I could get some.
Yes, thank you, Trustee Whiter. This question came up from the developer once we began reviewing the final plan. Lots 1 and 2, for reference, are the two northernmost lots in the subdivision. They are 2 of 4 lots in the northerly cul-de-sac. Lot 1 actually is immediately adjacent to the property in Hawthorne Woods, addressed at 3 Tanglewood Lane or Tanglewood Court. That property owner has indicated to our developer that they would like to keep those 2 lots as open space, and so the best way to do it is to acquire them, own them, and control them. However, being the fact that they are within the Village of Lake Zurich, we have added certain very specific conditions to the manner in which these lots would be maintained. First of all, because there is a timeline on this subject development, we've required the developer that if they do follow through with the conveyance of these 2 lots to that property owner, that conveyance take place within the first 6 months from the date of approval of the final plan, which is 6 months from today, in the event this final plan does get approval. Failing which, those 2 lots will then be subject to all of the development terms and conditions similar to the remaining lots within the subdivision, meaning that they would have to be developed with single-family homes within a 2-year period once construction starts. We've also required the 2 lots to be connected or stubbed out to our village utilities, just in case after 20 years they are proposed to be developed. When I say 20 years, that is the term of the development agreement, so we're requiring that. We are also requiring that the sidewalk that's being constructed through the subdivision be constructed along the frontage of these 2 lots to complete the continuity of the sidewalk through the subdivision. We also require that the lots remain within the same zoning as the remaining lots in the subdivision, which is R5 Single Family Residential District. And then these 2 lots also be subject to all of the property maintenance codes, such as mowing, maintenance, upkeep, etc., according to our village codes and ordinance. Now, there is a last condition stating that following the 2-year completion of the remaining portion of the subdivision, in the event these 2 lots are conveyed over to the adjacent property owner, if after that period of time that property owner contemplates development, they would have to request it through an amendment of the PUD, which means it has to come back through the process of a public hearing and come before the village board for approval of an amendment that would then allow them to be developed prior to the term of the agreement, which is 20 years.
Great, thank you. That answers almost all of my questions. So the one question that did come up when you were giving the explanation is, then that lot and that property would be required to be mowed and maintained, so it's not like it would not
wild
become
area.
a nature area per se. It needs to be maintained as a
regular open space, a regular lot within the Village of Lake Zurich.
okay. Thank you very much.
As a matter of reference, the developer's here too this evening. I had asked them to attend this evening and answer any questions if you do have any for them.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, piggybacking onto that, this item is on the consent agenda, but it comes with 2 recommended actions, which is kind of unusual for us. The first one is we're being asked to approve an ordinance granting final plan approval for a planned unit development for the property known as Meadowwood East. And the second one is we're being asked to approve an ordinance approving a development agreement between the Village of Lake Zurich and 0 Manchester Road LLC, approving the development of the property known as Meadowwood East. Since we started this process back in 2024, I think,
Yes.
we've heard a number of iterations to what's going on this property. Can you tell us what's going on with that property at this point in time? We've heard rumors that it was up for sale. We've heard rumors that it was being marketed. And if you could bring us up to date as to what's happening with these 2 property or these 2 this property, we would appreciate that.
Absolutely. This property is approximately 9 acres. It was acquired by the current developer in July of last year. However, following that, I did hear from some surrounding property owners that they had noticed other people walking through the property, and on speaking with them, this is again hearsay that I heard, they were told that the property was being marketed. So I reached out to the developer to ask them, what's the deal with that? And they indicated that they have listed the property, or had listed the property, and were testing the water, so to speak, to see what's out there. That is as far as I know, but I would defer to the developer to answer that question in a little more clarity to see what their final intentions are. But that is what I have heard. As of now, speaking with the developer over the past couple of weeks, they have indicated that they intend to develop the property at this time, but we will have to rely on the time limits that we've placed, meaning within 2 years of the approval of this final plan, they would have to begin construction and complete it within 2 years of beginning that construction, which means they could approximately get between 2 to 4 years to complete the entire subdivision, barring lots 1 and 2, if they are able to convey that over to the adjacent property.
So I'm going to ask the developer if you could come to the podium and give us an update on where you are and what's going on so that we're comfortable approving these 2 ordinances. Can you do that?
Hi, Kirk Rustman, for the developer. Yes, we did market the property because, we had gotten this far, gotten entitlements. We were always planning on developing the property, but if somebody came along, there was some conversations with some developers, other developers that wished to buy the property, but their price was, not what we were looking for as far as selling the property. So at this point, looks like we're going full speed ahead and going to develop all the lots ourselves once we've got approval.
So what does full speed ahead look like?
After we have approval, we can then go out and start lining up, site work trades to see and get in the schedule and find out when we can start the project. Actually get in there and start construction. We have to obviously meet with the village, with, you guys to do a pre-construction meeting and find out, all the timing of what that looks like. But, right now, based on the market that we have today, looks like there's pretty good demand, so we'll start marketing for the homes right away, getting deposits and going forward in a fairly quick manner.
But you have a time frame, right?
Yes.
2 years. Is that 2 years to start or 2 years to start and be done?
It's actually 2 years to start and get a permit to begin work. And then once work starts, they have a 2-year period to complete it. So if they start, like say, within the last month of the first 2 years, that would be unreasonable to expect them to complete within this first 2-year period. So we've put 2 2-year conditions. One is to begin construction, and the other one is a 2-year period from the start of construction to the end of construction. And that includes, if I may, construction and resurfacing of Manchester Road, which is a significant condition added to this development agreement as well as the ordinance.
Well, I would guess that Manchester Road will be the last thing that gets done, or one of the last things that get done. So any idea when we could anticipate that possibly being done, if everything goes right?
If everything goes right, no more than between 3 and 4 years from today's date.
From today? Okay.
That would be my current assumption.
Mark?
Yeah, so, excuse me for trying to bring back the cobwebs in my brain a little bit. When this initially came, it was a purchase of the property with an approval to have individual sites developed by different builders at one point. Am I correct on that?
That was an earlier discussion.
And we were against that concept because we wanted someone who was gonna be invested in buying the property and developing it as quickly as possible.
Yes.
In your opinion, do you believe this is the best path forward for this property to help us achieve that timeline to get that done at this point? So it's not something that I know people who live in the community are worried about dragging on for years, right? And then maybe having foundations and shells and nothing getting completed over time. As we move into an interest rate sensitive market at this point and prices just continuing to go up.
If I were to use a similar development such as Avery Ridge, which had 32 lots developed, that project from the first shovel to the final home, I wouldn't say final acceptance, but the final home, took between 2.5 and 3 years.
Okay.
That was approximately twice the number of lots that are being presented this evening for your consideration. And so it is our, I guess, belief that if all goes well, using that assumption, that they should be able to complete their project in, or all construction within a 2-year time period. There is a condition in the development agreement which is an incentive for them to be completed within the 2 years, namely that if they fail to do so, their surety in the form of a letter of credit will be used by the village to either stabilize the lot or complete the construction that's remaining so that there is no disruption to the surrounding property owners or the people that have already purchased property within that subdivision.
Okay, question for the builders at this point then. So I heard you kind of talk about a timeline, right? So your next steps after approval here is to start to market the individual lots because you need to get down payments to start the process of building and construction, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so these would be considered custom homes, not necessarily where you're offering a palette of styles that you would work from.
They do have a representative palette that they brought before you during the preliminary plan. But what we look at is to make sure that whatever's constructed is within substantial conformance with that palette, because we don't have construction level drawings, it was more a concept level drawing.
Right.
But more importantly, we would be controlling the fact that there should be no monotony, meaning we requested and were provided with 6 different model homes to be constructed on 15 lots.
Okay.
So that in our minds was a good spread, so to speak, of units and
So
designs.
you're saying there's a plan?
There is a plan.
All right, that's what I want to hear. Thank you.
Then, no more questions, and may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I was hoping for a separate vote on
okay.
item C.
Okay, then we'll do a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, except item C, which will be a separate vote, okay? Okay, so I need that motion.
So
please.
moved. Riley. Second.
And a
Marks.
second?
Second, Marks.
Kathleen, would you call the roll, please?
Trustee Baradwaj?
Aye.
Trustee Marks?
Aye.
Trustee Riley?
Aye.
Trustee Spicone?
Aye.
Trustee Shagru?
Aye.
Trustee Wider?
Aye.
Okay. Okay. My question to the attorney was, can I do both of the recommended actions at the same time, or do them one at a time? And he said I can do them at the same time, right? Do them at the same time. So, okay, so the consent agenda passes as presented except for item C. Now I need a motion to approve 2 recommended actions. The first one is to grant final, approve ordinance 2026-02-648, granting final plan approval for a planned unit development for the property known as Meadowwood East. The second recommended action is to approve ordinance 2026-02-649, approving a development agreement between the Village of Lake Zurich and 0 Manchester Road LLC, approving the development of the property known as Meadowwood East. So I need a motion to approve both of those items, please.
So moved, Shagru.
Who? Roger? Roger. And the second?
Second, Riley.
And Kathleen, call the roll, please.
Trustee Marks?
Aye.
Trustee Riley?
Aye.
Trustee Spicone?
Aye.
Trustee Shagru?
Aye.
Trustee Wider?
Nay.
Trustee Baradwaj?
Aye.
Hey.
Motion carries
Motion
5
motion
to
carries. Thank you. That's the end of the consent agenda. We move on to new business, item 7A, Mark Spicone.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item 7A, an agreement with In Situ Forms Technologies, USA LLC, for the 2026 sanitary sewer lining project in the amount not to exceed $2,339,002.50. In summary, the fiscal year 2026 budget includes $3 million in the Water and Sewer Fund for lining portions of the village's sanitary sewer distribution system. This project is a continuation of the Public Works Department's ongoing effort to reduce the risk of costly, and I'm going to say stinky, emergency open-cut repairs by implementing proactive trenchless rehabilitation through cured-in-place CIPP lining. CIPP lining is a proven method that can significantly extend the service life of existing sanitary sewer infrastructure with an anticipated lifespan of 50 years or more under normal operating conditions. This work is critical due to the project's location adjacent to Buffalo Creek and within environmentally sensitive wetland areas. The bid opening for the project occurred on December 19th, 2025, and yielded 5 bids, with the lowest bid received from In Situ Form Technologies USA of Chesterfield, Missouri. In Situ Form have experience installing over 200,000 feet of linear diameter CIPP liner for Lake Zurich and other municipalities in Lake and Northern Cook counties.
Here we go again.
Here we go.
Okay, Mike?
Thank you. 2026 program is here. We hope to start in later February, later this month. That'll take us through probably midsummer, potentially through July, weather permitting. And this year's program has us continuing to line the main, which is about 2,100 feet of 36-inch pipe and another 1,300 feet of 30-inch pipe. Total of about 3,400 feet. As Trustee Spicone stated, we are in, from Old Mill Grove, we're running in the rear easements and along the creek line of Buffalo Creek, all the way through Bristol Trails, through Chestnut Corners, and off to Quentin Road. So some tight conditions back there, very little access. This one is going to be a bit challenging for us, but we've had In Situ Form in the past, and we found them to be a good partner to work with. So we're confident we should be able to get through this with very little issue.
Okay. Questions from the board? Anybody? Pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah.
Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
And just as a reminder that this is a multi-year program that we've invested in that gives us new 50-year lifespans on the sewer pipes at about 10% of the cost of replacing them. So it's been a highly successful, highly efficient, and cost-effective way to make sure that our sewers stay where they are and stay intact.
Yeah, we were speaking earlier. I think we're roughly about 8 years into this, and 2 more phases to go on the main. But you know, never really stopping as far as the lining program.
And I do remember when we had that emergency break in Long Grove, and it was an emergency meeting that we had to have for $1.25 million expenditure just to fix to repair the break.
Yeah.
So this $3 million gets us a long piece of pipe that's going to be taken care of for 50 years. So, God willing, I'm still here in 50 years, but I doubt it because that would put me well over 100. So
I might be.
Yeah. So we're taking care of the future at that point on those. So.
Okay. No? Nobody else, right?
All right, then I make a motion to approve an agreement with In Situ Form Technologies USA LLC for the 2026 sanitary sewer lining project in the amount not to exceed $2,339,002.50.
And a second, please.
Second, Marks.
And Kathleen, call the roll, please.
Trustee Riley.
Aye.
Trustee Spacone.
Aye.
Trustee Sugru.
Aye.
Trustee Wyder.
Aye.
Trustee Baradwaj.
Aye.
Trustee Marks.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you. That's the end of our new business for tonight, and we will move on to trustee reports. Any trustee reports or stray board member comments tonight? No? Okay. Village staff reports? Anybody? Nobody? Okay. Then that's it for our regular business tonight. We will be adjourning to executive session called for the purpose of 5 ILCS 120/2C21, review of executive session minutes, 5 ILCS 120/2C5, purchase or lease of real estate, 5 ILCS 120/2C6, setting price for sale of real estate, 5 ILCS 120/2C11, pending or imminent litigation. There will be no voting action or board business discussed after closed session, so the adjournment of closed session will be the final adjournment and the end of the meeting. So may I have a motion and a second to adjourn tonight's regular meeting to executive session? Motion first.
So moved, Marks.
Marks, and a second.
Second, Sugru.
Sugru, Kathleen, call the roll.
Trustee Spacone.
Aye.
Trustee Sugru.
Aye.
Trustee Wyder.
Aye.
Trustee Baradwaj.
Aye.
Trustee Marks.
Aye.
Trustee Riley.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. We are adjourned. Next meeting is
7:30
February
on the
17th, Tuesday. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. And we are adjourned to executive session.